October 11th, 2020, and I'd like to show you my recent acquisitions. This is my winter project. These are Asian cymbidiums, and I have 3 different kinds here. So let me show you what I got. The tallest one, which is probably, I guess, a foot above the pot, is the tallest, and this is Cymbidium sinense Shan Chuan. And most of these have brown flowers, and they're supposed to be superbly fragrant. But in order to get nice flowers and nice fragrance, you're supposed to grow them in a particular way, depending on which type of cymbidium you have. Sinense, this tall one here, is probably the an intermediate kind. So at the moment there are no buds, it's just leaves. So yeah, so a fairly healthy plant. So I'm going to see how this one does. The 2 middle ones here are the warm tolerant cymbidiums. This is a Cymbidium ensipholium, but there are 2 different varieties here. The first one is Alba Green Mountain, which is a little bit taller than the next one over here, Ensipholium Rainbow. And so these are supposed to be grown just like Phalaenopsis. So I think these actually do bloom in the warmer months. So I've probably missed the blooming cycle for these 2. But I intend to just keep them growing, and I'm gonna have to read up more on these 2 since I did more research for this guy and this guy, the last one here, which is Cymbidium goringii Tian Jiao. And this is another variegated cymbidium, probably the smallest of all 4. And unlike the others, the buds have already they've already popped out. Here's one of them there, and there's another one on the other side, right here. Right here. And what's supposed to happen anyways, if you grow them cool, if you leave them in lower light, the spikes grow taller. That's my understanding anyways. So that's why you're not supposed to grow this particular one, at least in bright light, because the flowering spikes will be short otherwise. I just read recently also that temperature may also affect the fragrance. Anyways, I have not enough experience to know for sure, but so I guess in conclusion, these 2 middle ones, you're supposed to grow them fairly warm, and they're supposed to be very temperature tolerant. This one is more the intermediate of the bunch, and if there are any spikes, flower spikes, they should emerge sometime in January. So I'm going to have to wait for that. And these ones already have buds, but they'll grow a little bit, and then they'll basically go dormant and then start growing again sometime in January. That's my understanding. So the more expensive varieties, I guess the Japanese ones, which are yellow and orange flowered, require a special care. And in order to keep the color of the flowers, you're supposed to cap them with aluminum foil. And those cymbidiums are really expensive. And I'm not ready to try one just yet. And so I'll see how I do with these. I think 4 is enough for now. Remember I showed you this Epidendrum ciliare? Well, much to my surprise today, I noticed the flowers were starting to open. This is very unusual. These flowers are usually much, much bigger. And this is a normal flowering sized pseudobulb. And as you can see, this one's tiny, just a tiny little thing. So it tried its best and came out with 3 flowers. I'm going to wait till tonight to see, but these should be scented tonight. So I think I showed you the next one, which is Cymbidium Heaven scent. But this wasn't I think it was mostly in bud just last week, and they just all opened up at the same time, which is amazing. Anyways, this one's just amazing if you love chocolate vanilla scented ones. And I really like the fact that the spike has some shape to it. It doesn't just fall, and it's not even staked. This is how it is. So I'm really happy with this, and the flowers are very long lasting, and there's that second spike to boot. So it took a while to get established, but now it's doing pretty well. And what wasn't open as well last week was this guy here. This is a Paphios spicerianum, and I have a really huge flower. I mean, you could see this. The flower is really, really big this year. So I think it's done pretty well for itself. And this year I'm only going to have this single flower. But I think that's a success for me, since I don't do a whole lot well with these Asian lady slippers. And you've seen this one before, but from last week. I just want to add a note to it that it is vanilla scented in the late afternoons. It smells really, really good. But for some strange reason, my husband seems to smell this fragrance before I do. I don't know why. I guess you have to train your nose to smell these different fragrances. I think you saw this plant last week. It had 2 flowers, but it just fell. So that's the way these plants do. They fall before they start to fade. And on cue, this one smells like roses. Anyways, I still have quite a few buds coming up here. And the reason why I'm showing you this plant is that the next growth over already has a spike. At least the start of a spike. And that really surprised me, because the growth is a lot smaller than the one that's in spike now. So I guess it's just responding to all the amount of light that it's getting in the afternoons. It has a lot of bright light, and there's also some spotlights on it in the morning. So, and in contrast, I think last week my longifolium wasn't in bloom. It was, at least it wasn't, the bud wasn't opened. So I just thought I'd give you a look and see what it looks like up close. Yeah. And there is another bud in the back, so really hoping to see this guy in bloom for a very long time. So here are my phragmipediums in bloom. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.